And I'm not saying previous albums. I'm talking about this specific release of 30 songs.
31.
And I've been with you on this Taylor Swift journey over the past year and a half where you've really got into, I've been around you.
You've been near me.
I've been near you, relatively,
Well, guys, it's time to board. That's right, boys and girls. It is once again time for us to go on a field trip on the internet's favorite mode of transportation. It's the toxic gossip train, baby. Now, as many of you probably already know, for the last year or so, the internet has not been the biggest fan of Colleen Ballinger. If you don't know who Colleen Ballinger is, that's the real name of Miranda Sings. If you don't know who Miranda Sings is, well, then I'm kind of confused as to how you ended up on this video. But don't worry, we'll get through this together. If you happen to have absolutely no idea who or what I'm talking about, I'll give you a very quick crash course. Colleen Ballinger is an internet personality who got pretty famous, like Jimmy Fallon interview famous, for doing a character named Miranda Sings. You don't really need to know a whole lot about this character besides the fact that the general idea is that she's an unpleasant person who can't sing. Now, like I said, this character made Colleen very famous, to the point where she had a very large internet following, which allowed her to do stuff like live concerts. And about a year ago, people started to really scrutinize the behavior that Colleen was exhibiting when interacting with fans online or in person at these concerts. Her original fan base grew up and started to look back on this stuff and brought to light how questionable a lot of it was. She was doing some really, really weird stuff with children for a long time. Now, once the people talking about all of this became too loud to ignore, Colleen made a response video, with her response basically being, "You guys are being meanie weenies. You're making stuff up trying to ruin my reputation, even though, spoiler alert, it's all true. I'm the victim, you guys are bullies. You don't care about victims, you just want drama." August from the future here. Don't know how I forgot to mention that she plays the fucking ukulele during the entire thing as well. Pretty important thing to leave out there. Whoopsies. Now, obviously, this was not taken well, and it's been kind of a downward spiral for Colleen ever since. If you want to watch a video I made on that situation when it was all happening, I'll link one up in the corner. But today's video is much less serious, or at least I'm thinking it will be. Over the last week or so, I've gotten a lot of DMs, and I've also seen a few clips on Twitter about Colleen Ballinger and her husband's podcast, which is apparently terrible. There's a clip that's been going viral on Twitter of them arguing about Taylor Swift, and a lot of people seem to think it's the worst podcast ever. So I figured we'd take a look at it because I'm always happy to hop on the dog pile when the person at the bottom is someone who tried to defend having a little boy eat cheese puffs out of her pants. Yeah, great stuff. The original video everyone's talking about is like an hour long, so we're not going to be watching the entire thing. I'm sorry if you're disappointed. We're going to be looking at the segment from which the clip came that is making everybody think this podcast is so bad. Full disclosure, I haven't actually watched this yet. I'm just going off a blind recommendation here, so hopefully this video is not completely pointless. We'll see. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
I don't feel too strongly about this one way or the other. This isn't
I feel like I already know what you're going to say.
This isn't like my cause. You know what I mean? I don't really care
I already know what you're going to say.
that much,
sure.
but I just I kind of initiated this, trying to have a mature conversation with you about this last week, and I think it was okay, but I wanted to try talk about it more here. But what I'm going to say needs to relax is Taylor Swift lyrics.
Okay, so from the 2 minutes of this podcast I watched while trying to find the beginning of this clip, I think I have a general understanding of what they do here. The podcast is called Relax, and it seems like they both come into each podcast with one topic that they think people need to relax about, and that's sort of the catalyst for conversation. And Eric's, I think his name is, for this episode was Taylor Swift lyrics. Now let's just get this right at the start. I'm not going to be talking about Taylor Swift as an artist during this video. That is not the focus of this video, okay? It's Colleen and her husband. Taylor Swift and whether or not she's a good artist is a topic for another video that I will never make.
That's fine.
Okay.
What's funny is you say that you tried to have a mature conversation about it last week, and I feel like it did because I said, okay, you don't have to like her.
Yeah.
The issue is that I don't care.
It's not my place to say.
Well, it's actually,
but art is subjective, right?
Of course.
Okay, so already starting to sense a trend that I feel like might be the issue people are talking about. Look, I'm not a huge fan of podcasts to begin with. When I'm in a car with somebody and they say we should put on a podcast, I want to say I'd rather just jump out of your moving vehicle right now. You don't have to slow down or anything, just let me go. So maybe I'm biased, but this seems like a particularly bad one because the vibe I'm getting here is that they basically just come on here to argue with each other and talk about stuff that goes on in their lives rather than stuff that people actually want to hear about. Because if you want to sit for an hour and listen to a couple bicker about the issues that come up in their relationship, you should seek help.
You're right.
Just because I think her music and her lyrics is brilliant and incredible and has like saved my life in so many ways and changed my life in so many ways. And I've found an incredible community of awesome people that we can all connect over this and obsess over it together. Like, that doesn't mean that I think everyone should. And I don't try to convert anyone to do that. And I also know that that does not mean that everyone's going to like it. And so there's a lot of people who don't like it. What I find interesting is that when people don't like it, that's who needs to relax. Like they go banana. There's no Swifties who are like, everyone has to think Taylor Swift is the best person in the world. We're all just like, okay, you don't have to like it. Why are you listening to it? And why are you talking about it so
I'm not
much?
listening.
Okay, so this is silly. First of all, an opinion where you think something is bad is just as valid as one where you think something's good. If I want to say that I hate hot dogs, which I do, I'm allowed to talk about hating hot dogs just as much as somebody's allowed to talk about loving them. Second, have we met the same Taylor Swift fans, Colleen? Obviously, some of them are probably normal. If you go on Twitter and you say, I don't think Taylor Swift makes very good music, people are not going to reply saying, then why are you listening to it? You don't have to. That's a fine opinion. They're going to try and kill you. I was at a wedding when her most recent album came out, and 3 or 4 of the people that I was hanging out with stopped in the middle of all the festivities to listen to the entire 31-song album. Taylor Swift fans are a different breed. Let's not kid ourselves.
I'm hearing it because I live in a house with you,
Right.
And you walk around playing it.
Mhm.
Like you walk around with it playing on your phone, not in headphones, just in speakerphone. That's kind of like what you've been
I can
doing.
put it in headphones if that bothers you so much.
No, it doesn't bother me. It's just this is how I've absorbed it, and I just think, and I'm not saying previous albums. I'm talking about this specific release of 30 songs.
31.
Okay, so the more I watch of this, the more I'm starting to see what people are talking about. And it's nothing super shocking or jarring, but it's like this doesn't even feel like a podcast. I can't imagine a person sitting down and watching this for entertainment. Because what this feels like to me is a Zoom couples therapy session, and I'm the therapist. Which, if I was the therapist in this situation, I think right about now is when I'd be writing on my notepad, find a divorce lawyer that offers kickbacks.
I'm just saying it's 31.
31. I don't know. I don't know. I was
I
just
think it's
guessing.
31.
I was exaggerating, but good to know. It's exactly 31 songs that are like that. It's all in my subjective opinion. And I've been with you on this Taylor Swift journey over the past year and a half where you've really got into, I've been around you.
You've been near me.
I've been near you, relatively,
Okay, so this is my opinion, and I'm sure there will be moments where we're able to get into this more later. But if you are having a, quote, journey with an artist that is a significant enough part of your life that you and your partner have to talk about whether or not they've supported you through it, that's not healthy. The obsession that some people have with celebrities is genuinely kind of scary to me.
And I've been into a lot of it, you know? And I watched the movie of the concert with you when we did that. And you know what I mean? And it's obviously big in pop culture, like very aware. So then hearing this new album, it just seemed like, I think maybe I should drop it.
Drop what?
This conversation. I don't know. It's not my
If you want to.
No, it seemed like, I was like, is this a prank?
Eric, I can understand where you're coming from. Like I said, I was at a wedding with people who were listening to these songs when this album came out. Taylor Swift is not an artist I listen to, but I listened to a lot of these songs at that time because I wasn't just gonna walk away. And a lot of the lyrics that got memed came up, and some of them are pretty bad, some of them are questionable. And you wouldn't believe it, when me and a couple of friends voiced this opinion to the people listening to these songs, they were not having it. We just didn't understand it. So I can't imagine living with somebody who I constantly personally have to have this conversation with. I see why this is a source of conflict for these two.
Yeah, you don't have to like it. No one's telling you have to like it. My issue with it, so the night that the album came out, I was very excited. I love Taylor Swift, and I do think she's like a poet. Like I love her lyrics. I think she's very talented.
Right.
And so I was very excited to listen to it. And I was getting ready to listen to it, and you said, can I listen to it with you?
Eric, buddy, why would you do that? Here's a quick tip for you guys. If you have a partner or a friend or anybody that you have any kind of relationship with, it's great to try and share their interests. It really makes a person feel good. But if you know that you don't like one of their interests and you don't see that changing anytime soon, just let them do it. Don't try and get involved. Nothing's worse than trying to share something with somebody after they asked you to and them being a stick in the mud about it. If a person is important to you and you know something is important to them but you don't care about it, or especially if you don't like it, either fake it or don't try and share it with them.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, but you need to know this is like very important to me. You can't like poke fun or like, this is like an important thing where it's like, I need to just be excited and this is a happy, fun thing. This is not a like, this sucks kind of a thing.
Did I do that? I don't think I did that.
No, but no. So you listen to a few songs and then you were like, it's not good. This isn't music, is what you said.
I think I said they weren't songs and I went to bed.
Yeah, you said these aren't songs. You said these aren't songs. This isn't music.
Okay, so my point exactly. Like I said, haven't watched this all the way through yet, but do you see how what this guy said affected her memory of this album? And while it might just be a silly thing to most people listening to an album, it's important for some people. And now that memory is stained because this guy for some reason said, hey, I want to be included, and then did this. Just sit it out if you know you're not going to enjoy it.
Sorry.
And no, it's okay. And that's what I'm fine with someone going like, I don't like this. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
My issue is when people state like,
oh, I don't think it's for me.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that's totally fair. I don't like when people go, this isn't good, or this is not music, or she sucks. I'm like, well, you can say I don't like this, but to say it as a blanket statement,
I think
that's what I was like.
No, I think I have like a more specific.
Or you cannot be a pedantic weenie and let people express their opinions how they want. Art is subjective. If saying Taylor Swift is bad is wrong, then so is saying Taylor Swift is good. You're literally doing the exact same thing that you say other people are doing, making quote statements, saying that if a person says Taylor Swift is bad, that's not true. Please prove that to me. There's no truth in art. Two people can look at an art piece, one person says it's bad, one person says it's good. Neither person is more right than the other. You're just being a hypocrite.
It'd be interesting to hear her work with like different, like maybe a different producer, something.
She has worked with a lot of different producers.
Sure.
I mean, what's interesting is I've heard a few people say stuff like that, and like every album has been wildly different. Aside from Folklore and Evermore are pretty similar. But other than that, like all her albums are so wildly different styles.
Yeah.
So that's so funny to me when people say that, because I'm like, she's done so many albums and they're all so different, except for Folklore, Evermore. And this one's, I'd say, kind of in the same wheelhouse as that, but there's not really like.
Okay, so I don't really know what this guy is trying to say, but if he's trying to say what he said, then I don't really understand Colleen's response here. Taylor Swift has primarily produced all of her albums with Jack Antonoff. Like, that's not some sort of industry secret. He's been working with her forever. So if he's saying that he wants to see her work with different producers, saying that these albums are thematically different is sort of a nonsensical response. Just saying.
I don't think it's not for me. It's not to my taste. So I don't think it's I think this is bad. I think this is like, I don't think especially like a guy should be on a podcast saying like why Taylor Swift's new album isn't good. I don't think that's good podcast
You're allowed
content.
to feel that way.
Do you guys see what I mean about this being closer to a virtual therapy session than a podcast? I mean, even this guy is acknowledging it here, saying this isn't entertaining. No, it's not. You guys are having this like weirdly veiled argument where you seem to be trying to hide frustration or something from the audience. The way both of them are talking doesn't really seem natural about the most trivial issue in y'all's relationship. Oh wow, a married couple doesn't like all of the same things. Who would have thunk?
I can either just listen to it in headphones on my own time, which I can totally do, and I'm happy to do, or you can try to find interest in something that means a lot to me and go like, why? What is it about it that you like? I don't understand.
Okay.
And then I could tell you.
What? I was about to ask that question, but like, I don't know that I care. Kidding. I'm kidding.
Colleen, this might be a hard pill to swallow, but he's not kidding. Look, this is an important aspect of relationships. If you can never push yourself out of your comfort zone and try and find interest in something that's really important to your partner, that relationship probably won't end well. However, it's probably equally as unhealthy to try and force it. If your partner is interested in something, go in with an open mind and actually try and enjoy it. But if you don't, you don't. And that's okay. You don't have to like everything that your significant other does. One thing that's actually been proven to help relationships last a long time is each person having something that's a big part of their life that they do on their own. Should the other person make conversation about it and show interest in it? Yes. But they don't have to consume themselves in it like the other. It's good to have your own things.
I don't know.
The Lions, the Detroit Lions just unveiled new uniforms last week. What if you're like, I don't like these new uniforms? And I was like, well, I like them. And it's my team. So
I don't think you would do that. I think you would just go like, okay.
The draft is happening right now. They drafted a player and you're like, I don't think they should have drafted that. 2 cornerbacks, their first 2 picks.
You would be like, you don't know anything about this. You don't understand anything about it.
It'd be the same conversation.
Right. And that's kind of what has happened here is you said that and I go, okay, it doesn't offend me because I know you don't understand the lyrics and you don't understand the meaning behind it and why it's brilliant.
Colleen, do you realize you just called your husband stupid in front of your entire audience? There's a difference between not understanding the fundamentals of a relatively complicated sport and not being able to understand a song. Feel free to attack me in the comments section, Swifties, but I refuse to believe that there is a single song released by Taylor Swift that a grown adult could not sit down, read the lyrics to, and understand. Now, unfortunately for us, that is all of the Taylor Swift talk in this video, and if I don't cut it off at some point, I'm just gonna sit here and talk forever. Overall, this was not an enjoyable thing to watch, but I am going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that all of their podcasts surely are not like this. It seems like Eric really struck a chord and they were both kind of aggravated about it, and it led to this weird therapy session-esque video where they were both trying to say what they were thinking without getting angry on camera. At least that's what it looked like to me. Because surely they have not released 137 episodes of this podcast and have managed to maintain an audience when all they do is bicker about the stuff that goes on in their relationship. I have a little bit more faith in the general audience of the internet than that. Well, guys, what do you think? Does Spotify need to sign them a $250 million deal for this bad boy? I am going to say that I think most of the stuff I saw on Twitter is a little bit overstated. I mean, the tweets I saw were people saying stuff like, you shouldn't start a podcast with your husband if you guys hate each other. This just seems like 2 people getting into their emotions over an argument they've clearly had before in the past. Is it entertaining to watch? Absolutely not. But this behavior really doesn't seem that abnormal. This is nothing compared to, having a kid eat cheese puffs out of your pants. Thought I forgot about that, didn't you, Colleen? Not happening. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and walk on over to that subscribe button and touch it. It's free. It won't cost you anything. But for now, that's all I have for you today. Bye.